Steph.
Hello. How are you?
Good. I'm good. Thanks for joining me again for another episode of Bariatric Banter Podcast.
I'm so excited for today.
I can't wait. It is episode 12, which is, again, we say this every
Amazing.
time, and I think we'll continue to say it. It's crazy.
Amazing.
It's good. Yeah. I know. I'm excited. Like, we just keep getting more and more people listening and more of you interacting and sending us things. And like, it just makes our day. We love hearing that you're
That's
having
awesome.
surgery, that you're thinking about it, that we helped in some way. So
The amount of
we
I didn't
love
even
it.
tell you. I totally forgot to tell you.
What?
I had, after our last episode,
Yeah.
I was talking to a friend about it.
Yep.
And then I randomly, it was like this woman knew I was talking about it at that moment. She messaged me, and it's a woman that I used to work with.
Okay.
That I still stay in touch with on social media.
Yeah.
And haven't really had like a close conversation with her in a long time though, but
Sure.
we still chat every so often. Super lovely lady. Turns out she's having surgery too. And she messaged me on like, I think it was like a Monday or something, that she was having her appointment on the Wednesday to sign all her paperwork, that she was having it too. And so she has reached out that she's having it. I've had another person reach out that I know through cultural stuff that she's now having the surgery. She was on the fence. I chatted with her. She listened to her podcast. She's now gone ahead and advocated for herself. She's registered for surgery.
Whoa.
We have my other friend who we have talked about on here before, who just had bypass recently. We've got her. And then I had another woman who I haven't spoken to in years reach out again to tell me that she's been on the fence about this for years. She signed up for the program years ago, got scared, canceled. And now after like listening to the podcast, watching my story on Instagram, following along, now she's back into the thought process if she thinks she's going to do it.
This
And
is
I was
so
like, this
incredible.
is awesome. Like the
Okay,
things
that's
that
so
come out of
cool.
the woodwork and the messages that we're getting, and the engagement from people that, like I said on last week's episode, you never know who's watching in the wings and who's just in behind, quietly paying attention.
Yep.
You never know who's listening to your story. You never know who's watching. You never know who you're impacting. It's been super cool to have these people reach out that I haven't spoken to in ages.
I love this.
Talk about it. It's been cool. It's been so cool.
It's really humbling that people listen to us for advice and for help. And, you know, like we always say, we're not medical experts. We just want to share what we're going through and what annoys us and our frustrations and our joys. But it's just so cool to have people reach out and say, I'm doing it. I'm finally doing it. And I get it, because I just didn't find this before I went through surgery. Now, that doesn't mean they don't exist. There are wonderful influencers out there, but I just really struggled with like the Canadian aspect of things. And I love hearing everybody's journey. I've had people reach out about the recipe. I'm going to share the recipe on Instagram, the soup one. So yeah, we love interacting with you in any way. So
please
ask us
we
questions.
love chatting. Clearly we like to talk. So
what?
Don't be afraid to message with any questions, anything you want to talk about.
Yeah. And you can disagree with us if you think like it's total bullshit. Hannah said that you shouldn't travel for food. Like, I didn't say that, but you know what I mean? Like, if you disagree with us, that's totally cool. We want to have a discourse about it. And tell us where we're right. Tell us where we're wrong. Give us better suggestions. I think our goal in the next couple of weeks is we're going to try to book somebody to come on the podcast. So we want to bring you advice that isn't just our advice, but we have questions that we don't have answers to. So we would love to, I think PCOS will be the first guest we bring on, because I have questions. Being 2 years post-op, is my PCOS going to come back the way it was before? Is it going to hinder my weight loss? Is it going to cause weight gain? I have lots of questions that I just don't have answers for about that disease specifically and bariatric surgery. So yeah, we're looking for dietitians as well. We'd love to pick their brain on like some unique ways that we can fit more protein into our day. We have a lot of big plans.
People who have been through this, that have gone to other clinics, that have done different programs, get their take on it, that are maybe even further out than we are, or in the middle of where we are. There's lots of different opinions that we want to hear and questions we want to ask. So
I agree.
Stay tuned. As much as we appreciate and love you guys listening to us, we want to hear from other people too.
We do. And we want other people's opinion. And yeah, we're going to do more on our social as well. So if you're not following us on TikTok or Instagram, please do. We share lots of behind the scenes about our life. We share exercise. We share recipes. We share just what day-to-day life looks like. But Steph and I have been kind of noodling on some cool shit that we might start doing. Like, we've always had this thing about the recipes that we keep finding online and how a lot of them are just shit. So we've debated like maybe
They're
we
lies.
should
They're lies.
maybe we should make some of these super great amazing recipes and like taste test them and see if they actually taste good. Maybe we should remake some of them and make them bariatric friendly.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've had a lot of cool ideas. Maybe we will
Do some
things.
adventures.
Yeah, go on adventures and see if they're bariatric friendly. Try things that we've never been able to try before in new bodies and see if we like it or we hate it. But yeah, and then Canadian hauls. Can we replace our amazing American products with Canadian ones? So yeah, follow us on our social because we're going to start branching out and posting a lot of really cool stuff. And I think the recipe one will be the most fun.
I agree. Because there's a lot that sound great
Oh,
until you really start looking at them. So
and then you're
we're
like,
talking like there's a lot that I think we can use. Well, first, like you said, try them out, see if they taste good or not.
yes.
Put in the actual information on them and see if they're truthful or not.
Yes.
And then try to recreate it with swap outs.
So that it's got higher protein.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's what I've done it for a few recipes. I just usually only share it with friends. So maybe we'll put it out publicly and say like, hey, look, the Starbucks one was probably the best one. Starbucks has this new thing out, which like, oh, okay, it's pretty
so good.
It's divine, but it's this new thing like a chicken pocket, like a jalapeno chicken pocket, where basically it's just like cream cheese, jalapeno chicken in a wrap. It's 200 calories and 10 grams of protein. So like, it's not the highest protein snack, but if you're in a pinch, it's 200 calories. It's not going to ruin your whole day. But I was like, God damn it, I really want this. Like, there must be a way I can make this.
And it was not big. When you sent the picture of it, it was surprisingly small.
It's tiny.
It was not what I expected.
Very tiny for 200 calories. So I said to Steph,
do this better.
Yeah, I said there has to be a way I can get way more protein and do this better. And so I literally spent a weekend trying to recreate this goddamn chicken pocket. And I think, what did I get it to? Like 160 calories and
something around there.
18 grams of protein?
I would say almost 20, like significantly better.
Almost 20 grams of protein. And like my swap was like, did I still use cream cheese? Yeah, but I got whipped cream cheese and I used a scoop of whipped cream cheese, not like the whole thing was cream cheese. Fresh jalapenos, good roasted chicken, but then cottage cheese, that tried and true, everybody's favorite. Like, and then I blended some of the jalapenos into the like cream cheese, cottage cheese sauce, like played with spices. And then I used low carb smart tortillas. And I was like, holy shit, not only did I get it under 200, but like,
your
that
fiber
protein
was way better.
Oh, the fiber was like through the roof, but the protein was, and so then it's like, well, how do they taste? They actually taste pretty freaking good.
When you do it at home, you can add those extra spices, you can tweak it to your liking, but there's so many swap outs that you can do, and
so many.
We can use those as inspiration and then do it ourselves. So I think that would be a fun little series to do.
I think it would be really fun. So send us those recipes that you would love to be bariatric, or the ones that you're like, this person keeps posting this recipe and I don't know if it's going to taste any good. Okay, we'll be the ones to try it, because there are so many recipes I've tried where I was like, all right, well, this is shit. And my biggest one that I complain about every time I see one that says this, and Steph will know, the next time somebody posts a cheesecake protein recipe and there's no cream cheese in that recipe, it's not cheesecake.
No, like, it's a cottage cheese dessert. It's a cottage cheese dessert. You can't tell me something tastes like cheesecake when there's no
cream cheese.
There's no cream cheese.
It's not cheesecake.
Between the texture and the flavor, it's not. Don't lie to me.
No, and I see.
Call it a cream or a cottage cheese dessert.
Cottage cheese, baked egg, call it whatever you want, but stop saying this is a high protein cheesecake recipe. Like, it might look like a cheesecake, but I can tell you good and goddamn well, it does not taste like a cheesecake. It's going to taste horrible. So we test a lot of recipes here, to be honest. So, the Starbucks dupe was good. I got it down to 180 calories. Sorry, not 160. And 23 grams of protein, 8 grams of fat. So, I mean, again, it's got some cream cheese and some cottage cheese in it. It's got a little bit of fat.
You're only having a little bit.
there was only 5 grams of net carbs. So like in the grand scheme of things,
Great.
it's not that, like, and again, it's not like you're eating this thing literally every day. It's I want a dupe for that quick and convenient Starbucks like chicken pocket. And I love having this because when I'm running to like agility with the dog or I'm on a road trip, like going to Windsor, I love it. It is the perfect little meal size, makes you feel like you're having something decadent while you're on the road. So,
Cheesy and gooey.
yeah.
Yeah, it's
The
the same with buffalo chicken dip. Like I used to love me some buffalo chicken dip, but there's so much like cream cheese and sour cream and ranch and like
so
so much cheese.
much.
And it was phenomenal. But yeah, like so decadent, so gooey and delicious.
So good.
So when we hit the soft food phase and I saw everybody on TikTok making soft food phase bariatric buffalo dip, I to say I lived on that during the soft food phase, but you find your tweaks, right? Like you use
Do.
cottage cheese, you use plain Greek yogurt, you do extra spices, you use the low
Yes.
fat cheese. Like, did it taste exactly the same? No, but was it
No.
delicious and did it hit the spot and fulfill that craving? Totally. And
Absolutely.
super high protein. I lived on that. So there are swap outs for almost anything
Yeah.
that you can
And they
do.
don't taste terrible. Like
No, if it
so one
tasted
of
like
the
crap, I wouldn't have eaten it. Let's be
no.
honest.
One of the big things I make now are these protein muffins, and it's because
Mhm.
there was a recipe floating around. And the recipe was, oh, you take Kodiak pancake mix and you mix it with Greek yogurt and a Premier protein shake or a Fairlife shake. And oh, boom, you now have muffins that are under 200 calories with like 10 grams of protein. And I was like,
Hmm.
I can do that better. And like I was like, I can do this better. So
Yeah.
I tried the recipe as is and I was like, these are incredible. Like this muffin is under 200 calories. Most muffins are like 400 and it tastes good. It's a little denser than a
Yeah.
normal muffin, but it's like a cake. I was like, this is like a
Yeah.
treat. So then I set out to build the best protein muffin I could. And I mean, I love it because now it's really Canadian, but I use Flourish pancake mix, which is a Canadian pancake mix, but it has 23 grams of
Hmm.
protein versus the Kodiak, which is like Kodiak's really high in sugar and low in
Yeah.
protein. Like it is marketed as high protein, but I
It's higher
find,
protein than normal pancake mix, but
yeah,
it's nothing crazy.
it's nothing really special, to
No.
be perfectly honest. I think it's done a good job of marketing itself as being great,
Hmm.
but the truth is there's way better options than anything that they sell.
Yeah.
So I found this Flourish pancake mix in Canada, and they have a ton of different flavors. And I made it with Greek yogurt and the Premier protein shake. It's a stupid easy recipe: whole bag of pancake mix, whole drink, whole Premier protein shake, and then like 5 ounces of Greek yogurt. That's it. Mix it, bake it. I add a scoop of ghost protein powder. So depending on the flavor I'm making,
Yeah.
I'll add like cinnamon or lucky. I have like a Lucky
Lucky
Charms
Charms.
ghost.
Yeah.
So I added that in and I baked it. And I was like, well, shit.
Yeah.
So my muffins are 167 calories, which if you know muffins,
That's like
that's insane for a
yeah.
muffin.
That's like
A
half,
hun-
less than half.
Less than
Yeah.
half.
That's insane.
167 calories, 3 grams of fat, um, 2 grams of sugar,
Yeah.
18 grams of protein
Amazing.
in a
In
muffin.
a muffin.
And it's not even like a little muffin. Like these are like, because
They're
it's a pancake mix, they rise,
exquisite.
like they become huge. So this has
That's
become
awesome.
kind of like when I make my coffee in the morning and I put my Premier protein shake in, like sometimes all I feel like is a muffin.
Yeah.
But now my breakfast is 25 grams of protein
Right
and
off the
less,
bat.
and it's under 200 calories, which is
Insane.
crazy. And there are
Insane.
just days where you're going to be like,
I
man,
just want a muffin.
I just want a baked good.
Yeah. I just
So
want like a treat.
I've turned it
It
into a
fills your
dessert.
macros on a treat.
Yeah, I've toasted it and I've
Mhm.
put some Greek yogurt on it and some berries, and I've
Perfect.
had it almost like you would like a biscuit or something,
Yeah.
like, because you're still gonna have that craving of, you know what I miss, like a nice warm dessert.
Yeah. Or put some
Um,
PB2 powder on it.
so I've
Right?
mixed PB2 into the batter. I don't
Yeah.
recommend it because it gets stodgy, but
Yeah.
okay, here's another recipe we tested. PB2, which like we cannot stress enough how great powdered peanut butter is.
Always in
PB2
my house.
specifically. Some of the other brands have a weird taste to them, but
Yep.
PB2,
Delicious.
don't make it with water, make it with a Premier protein shake. It
So good.
tastes like caramel.
So good.
I thought that was gonna be a shit recipe for sure, and
Yeah.
I just remember being like, "There's no way
I was
this will taste
questioning
good."
that one.
The best peanut butter I've ever had. I can't explain how much it tastes like peanut butter caramel, but, like, now you've got a super high protein peanut butter to put on a protein muffin
Yeah.
and just
Simple
keep
swap
upping,
outs.
right? And now people are looking at you like, "Well, why are you eating muffins with peanut butter?" Bitch, this is under 200 calories and like 30 grams of protein. Like,
Yeah.
I love
Exactly.
hacking recipes, and if they don't taste good, I do not deny when stuff tastes bad. I will
Yeah.
straight up be like, "That is not worth it. That tastes horrible.
Yep.
Don't make that recipe."
Even simple things like I used to love salsa and sour cream mixed together with chips,
Yes. Oh my
right?
god, I do the
But
same
yeah,
thing.
but if you whip up some cottage cheese
Yep.
and mix that in instead,
I've said a sour
there
cream.
you go.
I
Or
do,
add a little taco seasoning to it.
okay. I
Mix that
do
in there.
Greek yogurt,
Delicious.
the, what is the name? Oikos 19-gram
Yep.
plain Greek yogurt.
Yep.
I do exactly what you said. I
Yeah.
have this, like, elote seasoning from Trader
That's
Joe's,
what I use.
and
Everything but the elote.
yes, and I make a
Yeah.
flavored, like, Greek yogurt, and then I put
Yeah.
my salsa on top,
Yeah.
and now I'm having, like, a high protein
Yep.
dip for
Yep.
whatever I'm eating.
I put it
Um,
in my little chicken fajitas that I
yes,
make, or
I
you
make
can dip
quesadillas.
protein chips in it, you can dip
Yes.
veggies in it, you can put it on top of a taco
Mhm.
salad.
It's
There's
oh,
so many easy swap outs.
yes.
So many easy swap outs.
Simply
We should
Protein
do
now
an
makes
episode just on swap outs.
yeah, I think we should start doing once a week posting, like, a recipe dupe or a recipe
Yeah.
hack that we're trying, but also send us the ones you want us to try because there's probably a million out
Oh
there
my
floating
gosh,
around.
yeah.
Send them our way.
We'll take a look.
Yeah, Simply Protein makes protein tortilla chips now. So, like, I'm 2 years post-op, I eat nachos. People are like, "What the fuck?" I'm like, "Yeah, there are definitely days
Yeah.
where I'm like, I'm making nachos." Now, I've done it a bunch of different ways. I've made sweet potato nachos, which are actually
Mhm.
really delicious.
They are really good.
Um, I've done, like, no chip nachos where you just kinda put your meat and olives and shit on a tray, and that one's okay. And then there are just times where I go, "Yeah, I'm just gonna make nachos." Like, I don't eat as much as I did before.
Right.
I'm not concerned about this becoming an issue because I'm eating, like, less than a cup, and I now make my nachos with, like, tons of chicken on top of it, and I put a vegetable, and
Mhm.
I'm using, like, super low fat cheese, and you can still have treats. Like, am I eating nachos every day? No.
No,
But, like, once a month, there's probably a
you're not
day where
depriving yourself.
I'm tired and I just want something kind of warm and good. And so I'll make it. And yeah, it's probably closer to, like, once you add in everything, probably closer to 400 calories for the whole thing, but super high protein
Yep.
dip that I'm dipping in it. It's got lots of chicken on it, and, like, that will fill me up for most of the day because there's carbs, there's protein, and
Yeah.
again, it's moderation. My whole day is not shot because my whole day still stays
Right.
under 1500
And you're not
calories.
doing it every day.
No. And it
No,
still stays under 1500 calories.
you
So they're
have to
just
you have to give into your cravings, but you can still do it in a smart
yes.
way, right? Because we
Yes.
all know when you continually say no to things, that's when the binging happens, that's when the bad habits come in, that's when the slippery
Mhm.
slopes happen. So you still have to honor what you want and what your body wants. Just be smart about it. And it's not something that you're going to do every day. So look for the swap outs, make it the healthier versions of it. You're having the smaller portions. Don't get so fixated on, oh my God, I can't
Yeah.
have that. I can't have
Oh,
that. I
can't do
can't
that.
have
I
that.
can't.
Yes, you can.
Yes, you can. And you don't have to be like, "Oh, you know what I have to do? I have to squish broccoli and make nachos on top of broccoli, and that's my
No,
life now." And it's
that's
like, that
garbage.
actually sounds good. That was a bad
I mean, I love
example.
broccoli,
I love
but
broccoli.
if you want
But
nachos,
it's
you want nachos.
then have nachos. You need the crunch, you need a little bit of the cheese. Again, Steph nailed it. My therapist has always said, what we resist persists. So, you can't avoid anxiety, you can't avoid stressful situations. And if you try,
Yeah.
then you never get over that being a stressful situation. You can never, if you have a fear of flying and you just resist flying, you didn't solve your fear of flying because
You just
that
hid
still
from it.
persists.
Yeah.
So it's the same with, like, most of us are binge eaters. So, do I advocate keeping slider foods in the house? Absolutely not. But if you're a binge eater, the more that you avoid something, the more it becomes food noise. The more you obsess over it,
Yep.
the more
Yep.
you're going to make
Maybe
bad
upset people
choices.
then.
And so there's this great TikTok, I'll try to find it, where this woman was like, my food therapist is making me keep 3 chocolate bars in the freezer, and this is just ridiculous. And blah, blah, blah. And there were some comments like, oh my God, ditch your food therapist. And then another dietitian came on and said, no, when I'm dealing with people who binge eat, I specifically make them buy that food and keep that food in their house because it needs to not be a novelty. It needs to not. And that's exactly what happens with me. Do I feel like nachos? Yeah. Okay, I'll make them. And then that's it. I'm not
Right.
hyper fixated on it.
No, the
I
moment's
don't need it all
passed.
the time.
Hit that craving. Your
Yep.
body's over it. Move on.
But if you avoid it,
That's
then
all you're going to think
it's
about.
all consuming. And then it's going to become your hyper fixation that you have to have all the time. So I don't buy a full bag of tortilla chips. I usually go to not Trader Joe's, Jesus Christ, Farm Boy, and get like
Harmony.
their fresh made ones, or I get the little bag of the Simply Protein. I find the Simply Protein has way higher calories than just a
Mhm.
regular ass tortilla chip. But I try to get a small bag.
Yeah.
And then I just make myself like that single serving and I move on. And because it's a novelty, like when was the last time I made nachos? What is it? It's January? I had nachos in January. So like, yep, definitely not
Yeah.
doing this every week. It's not becoming a problem. I'm still losing weight.
But now the
It's
moment's come. Your body
yeah,
wants it. So,
I'm going to make it
okay.
because I now trust myself with that
Yeah.
food. I know that I'm going to load it with as much protein as humanly
Yep.
possible and a lot of veggies. And I make the right choice when it comes to the cheese. And I make my own Greek yogurt salsa dip. Like I trust myself to make
Right.
nachos because
You've got those habits in.
I know the bowl that I'm going to put it in because, I've measured so much that I don't, I know
Yep.
the bowl it's
You're
going
not
to go
making the
in.
cookie sheet full
Yeah.
of
I'm
nachos.
not going to
Yeah.
graze on it over the course of 3 hours. Like I know I'm going to sit, I'm going to eat it. And when I'm done, that bowl goes away and I'm done with that meal. But that comes with practice. Would I have been having nachos like 2 months post-op? No, no, this comes with practice of like reintroducing some things. Now I don't keep like bags of cookies and sweet things in the house because slippery slope, but I don't deprive myself. So I have my muffins, which are great. I actually bought you can get cookie sticks at Longo's, which like these are dope as hell. They look like my finger, and you can have 3 for 90 calories and only 8 grams of sugar. And they have
So,
2 grams of protein in them. So I'm like, what the fuck are in these cookies?
hey.
But every now and then you need something that's not a protein something. Like I'm so tired of seeing influencers go, you know what my treat is today? My calcium
Crunchy.
chew. Fuck
No.
off. Okay.
No.
That's not a treat. Or people being like, the only thing you need to be eating is protein high things. You're a human, and there's going to be a day where you're like, you know
You
what
don't
I
want
would
it.
love? An Oreo. Like I
Right?
don't want,
No.
so
I just
I
want a
make
candy. I
sure
just want a candy.
I want something. So do
Yeah.
I buy Oreos? No, because I think Oreos are like super slippery slope for me. Would I eat the whole bag if I could? Yeah. So I found these cookie sticks. Are they good? Yeah. Are they like binge worthy good? No,
No.
no. But they
They
are a
they
good
take a spot.
treat when you're kind of feeling it. So I pre portioned them out into bags. I put the bags in the freezer because it keeps food just fresher.
Yeah.
And every now and then, if I'm having my coffee or a tea in the afternoon and I kind of want a little sweet treat, I have a pre-portioned little bag of these 80-calorie cookies.
Yeah.
But I always have just something for the days when the cravings hit so hard that you're like, I'm going to go to the grocery store and just buy a cake. Who cares? I've been so good for 2
Right?
years.
I
A cake
deserve
isn't
it.
going to matter. And it's like, no, no, don't keep slider foods in your house, but you need to start trusting yourself with some things. Or like Steph said, find an alternative.
Yeah. Make a
I
swap.
was yeah, what
Yeah.
were we
No.
craving the other day? I can't remember what we were talking, but we were both just talking about like, oh my God, like I'm so hungry. I
Yeah.
just want something. And I went out to the grocery store and bought extra lean ground beef and some tiny little slider buns. And I just made like 16 mini patties, froze them in the freezer. And I was like, there.
Yeah.
The next time I'm
Make my
sitting here
burger.
thinking that I'm going to go get a Big Mac or I'm going to buy a hamburger, I'm going to have a kid's meat, like I've just made an alternative.
It's
Like
already there.
I think a kid's hamburger is like under 200 calories at McDonald's. It's not crazy. I made an alternative for 130.
Right.
So, it's a little
You made
slider,
it
comes with a
yourself. You know
bun.
what's in it.
Yep.
You don't have to go out and spend the extra money on it.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, you just gotta you gotta listen to your body, find the alternatives. And it's okay, like you said, if you have those
It's
days where
okay.
you don't want the protein bar or you don't want the protein shake, that's
It's
totally
okay.
fine.
That's
It's
normal.
totally fine.
It's
You
totally
don't
fine.
have to live off of that 24/7 all the
You'll
time.
burn
You
out
still
because
Oh gosh, yeah.
you'll
You
burn
still have to
out.
live your life, right? You
It's
still have to enjoy things. Just be
moderation.
responsible in your decision. And like Anna said, a lot of that comes from practice. It comes from building those habits. It comes from the fact that number one, you physically can't. eat as much as you used to. And if you do try to eat the whole bag of Oreos, you're probably going to get pretty sick and feel like crap.
100%.
But it just comes from practice, from trusting your body,
Mhm.
trusting yourself, knowing your limitations, and
Yes.
knowing how to make those better, more responsible choices.
Yeah. Know what your slider foods are. And slider foods are the ones that will slide through your body. So you'll eat the whole bag of goldfish. You'll eat the whole. So like I know what my slider foods are, and I'm not going to keep them in the house even if I believe that I need to trust myself with them. Those are not the ones that I'm going to trust myself with. But there are definitely other things that feel like a treat, feel really great. You just kind of alter them. Like I have found a great recipe for chicken quesadillas. Yes, I do keep those in my freezer. And I think that the nice thing about having some of these things on hand is they're still in my freezer. Like they're still on hand, meaning like I'm not sitting and hyperfixating and eating the whole bag of quesadillas. I had a little craving that I
You got
wanted
your
something
portion.
cheesy and crunchy.
Yep.
And so I make things and keep them in the freezer so that when you have that moment, you don't wind up at McDonald's or you don't wind up eating something you don't want. You go, oh yeah, there are sliders in the freezer. Okay, I guess if I really wanted a slider,
I can
there's
have
one in
one.
the freezer that I could have, right? And
And that will also show you
they're
how
still
much did
there.
you really want it. Like,
Yep.
did you really want it? Like I always tell my kids, always be like, I'm hungry. So I'll tell them, go have an apple. Well, I don't want an apple. So, well, then you're not that hungry.
You're not hungry.
So if you're fixated on that hamburger and you have the stuff to make the slider at home, but you don't want it, then did you really want it? Were you maybe
Mm-hmm.
bored and maybe
Yep.
you need to go do an activity?
And that's a thing.
Or have you maybe had no water today and you're actually really thirsty and
Yep.
you should have some hydration?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that's a hard one because, like,
That is a hard
in the
one.
moment, you don't want to hear drink water because you're like, I am hungry. But no, for me, it's, usually boredom or
Boredom. Yeah.
the other day I was just on Instagram and I was like, all these people making these beef bowls. Fuck it, I'm going to go make it.
A
Like,
beef bowl.
because it was it was on me. I hadn't eaten. All of a sudden it was 6:30 and
You
it's like,
realize how
wow, your
hungry you
last
are.
meal was hours ago and it was like cheese and apples. Like you need something. And so I was literally sitting there like, well, why don't you just order something? And I've removed the apps off my phone because
Yeah.
again, I know my limitations.
Slippery slope.
I was like, I'm not ordering. So I was like, fine, go make the goddamn beef bowls. So I did. I went all the way to Longo's, which like, okay, it's not far, but I went to Longo's and I got everything for the beef bowls and I came home and I meal prepped them and I ate it. And I was like, this is like, this was cool. I was bored and just wanted to cook something.
Yep.
The beef bowls were funny because Steph and I beat this up and we'll get to our topic, I promise. Oh my goodness. But people are saying the beef, I know the beef bowls are 400 calories.
But they're all over
but
social
they're
media.
Not.
Because as soon as you told me you were making the beef bowl, my very first thought was, holy crap, that's a lot of calories.
That's a lot of calories.
And I have seen everybody on social media making them, and every single person that makes them says they're between 400 and 500 calories. And I've looked at them and I've thought, really? Like, really? But I've never paid that much attention to the actual building of the bowl. I just kept seeing it. So I was like, okay, cool, whatever. So as soon as you said I'm going to make the beef bowl, I was like, dang, she's going to use up a lot of those calories in one meal.
Calories, right?
Go right ahead, girlfriend.
So it's not filling enough. I'm just going to throw it out there. It is not a filling enough bowl that you should be wasting 400 calories on it. You could easily cut the beef for chicken. You could cut it for pork if you wanted to and cut those calories down. But like, just because, so I'll talk, so many things. Avocados are great, but they're not that filling. Like, yes, they're full of good fat and blah, blah, blah. But like, just be careful that just because something is full of protein won't mean that it makes you feel satiated or full at all. So just be very cautious of that. Like there are sweet potatoes in it, but this needs a little bit more of the carb versus the high fat. Like honestly, I'd cut the avocado from these stupid bowls and put in tomatoes and up the sweet potatoes.
So many extra calories that you don't need.
No, and I'd switch the beef for turkey so that I could fit more cottage cheese in. Like it does not need the avocado. That's such wasted calories in my mind. I digress. I built the bowl and I put the whole recipe into my Fitness Pal and it was like per serving this is 400 calories and I was like there's just no fucking way looking at the size of this and what I know is in here. So I instead did each single bowl individually, like literally painstakingly measured every single individual serving size of the ingredients, then made the bowls and put them in and they were down to 200 calories a bowl. So like my Fitness Pal's got some fucky shit and I don't know what's going on, but we've seen an influencer who has said this before, where she's like, you need to stop doing that and you need to measure your serving sizes by grams and like meal prep that way. You should not be doing like, I had X portion of a larger portion. Like, no. So
it's
when
also way hard. I find in MyFitnessPal, it's also a pain. I've tried building out those recipes when I made the buffalo chicken dip.
Yeah.
And it was so annoying. It was so difficult. It was such a pain. It never worked out properly. So I said to you, I gave up on that. I haven't done it since. And the other day I was like, oh, I really should put some go-to recipes in there. And then, we saw the video and I was like,
this is why people don't track, because it's a pain in the ass to do it in MyFitnessPal. But like, there's something going on with it. You have to be very cautious what it's picking. Most of the calories are completely fucking wrong in MyFitnessPal. But I don't think the beef bowls are as high calories people think they are, unless you're not, like I bought specifically extra lean ground beef, 98% fat-free ground beef. So like I went out of my way to get stuff, but like the sizing, like 3 ounces of beef per bowl.
Unless you're putting in a high fat beef, you're loading up on the avocado, you're doing full fat cheese, full fat everything. Like there's no, and that's
got to be a double serving. That's 400 calories.
These recipes lie. The recipes
they lie. They lie.
Yeah.
So the beef bowl's not worth it. Just throwing it out there. Tried that recipe, not worth it. Moving on to better topics. Sorry, today's topic, which we're getting to 30 minutes into the podcast, is non-scale victories. Because we don't celebrate them enough. And they're far more important. We do our little dance, like non-scale victory, non-scale victory. They're psychologically so much more moving and impactful than a scale ever will be. And you'll find them in every day. And you could even start a bucket list of non-scale victories, but
we don't give them enough thought or enough credit.
No.
Not just bariatric world, anybody on a weight loss journey, a health journey, the non-scale victories are always forgotten. They're not talked about enough. We get so damn fixated on the scale that we totally forget to pay attention or notice all of the other awesome things that are happening around you or to you that are not just the number on the scale.
Exactly. And I think it's very easy to get fixated on, oh, I'm in a stall. Oh, I'm not moving forward. Oh, I'm not, and like it does happen. And like we send that message to each other several times where we're literally
every week complaining about this. Literally every week I'm messaging.
Literally we're complaining about this all the time.
Move again.
All the time. And even I'm still complaining about all of this. And then we will be each other's voice of reason where we'll say things like, dude, but you're wearing smaller clothes, or didn't you just buy a size small, or didn't you just do this, or didn't you just do that?
And it's like working out twice a day.
Yeah. That was my advice to you the other day. I was like,
it's so funny because it's stuff that like the stuff you tell me and the stuff I tell you, we listen when the other person says it, but we know it's true. We say the exact same words to the other person, but we only listen when we hear it back. Like, it's so silly.
Yeah. I think it's the fundamentals of psychology and therapy, to be honest, is that
we don't want to hear it from ourselves.
We don't want to hear it.
But as soon as we hear it from somebody else, we're like, oh, that makes sense.
That's so great. That's great advice. And it's like, God damn it. It's great advice for you too, you idiot. I could have
told myself that.
Yeah.
But But we don't. We just get so fixated on it. And then we forget, like you said, like the wearing of the smaller clothes, the sitting in a chair and your legs aren't like touching the side or super squished. Like it just feels different, or not like needing to turn sideways to walk through a space because you can fit forward.
Because you can go through
all of these things. Or like for me today, for me it was clothes. I put on my jeans that I had in the closet that were I'll wear these one day, so I'm not going to throw them out.
Yep.
They are now too big. Like they were falling off me today. I had to keep like hiking them up. The pants I'm wearing now, like are pajama pants that I bought again to fit one day.
Yep.
And I literally put them on a month ago to try them on and like couldn't get them over my thighs. I was like, this is not happening. And today they were just like right up. Fit. And then yesterday I went to drive the truck after Devin had been in, and I got in the truck and I kind of did one of these. I was like, why am I so far back? I was like, oh, because I can get closer now because I don't have as much junk in the way that I now have to scooch the seat forward when I drive vehicles.
I love it.
But like, it's all those things that we don't think about, and we just let them pass by. We don't give them the time of day.
We don't.
And it's so important to stop and take stock of all of those other things, because they have big implications on your day-to-day life too.
They do. And it's almost like we're discrediting the effort and work that we've put in. And they do tell you, like, take before and after photos, because that will show you more than a scale ever will. And I cannot emphasize that enough. The photos, like, there are days that I have to just go look at the photos because I'm like, whoa,
because you don't see it when you look at yourself every day. And the body dysmorphia is real, so
Very
you
real.
don't see what's there. You don't take it in on a day-to-day basis. And the changes are small, right? From
Minimal.
a day-to-day basis, so you don't notice.
But when you
I'm
look at
really bad
photos,
at taking
you're
pictures.
like,
I'm really bad.
whoa, I'm bad at this too. I wish I had more videos, to be honest, like,
Well, I think
mainly
it's
for
because too, like,
social, but
we don't when you're at the start of this, you typically aren't happy with yourself.
you
You're
don't want them.
typically like, I'm the person who was never in the photos. I don't want to be in a photo. The last thing I want to do is strip down to my gitch and take a photo of myself in the mirror. Like,
not happening.
So I never think of it. Like, it's just never a thought. And then I will have those changes. I'm like, damn, I should have taken the photo.
You will always look back and regret not taking the photo 100%. You will
Or the
always wish you had more. The measurements, the photos, the before and afters. Do yourself a favor, take them now. You don't have to look at them. You don't have to look at them, but take them. And take them often, especially if you think it's going slow and nothing's happening. Like, you would be shocked what your body looks like week over week. It will help you through the stalls where you're mentally like, I'm not losing weight. Yeah, but you're losing inches. You're losing, like, your body is starting to take a different shape. Like,
things are moving around.
Focus on things that aren't the scale.
Which is so hard.
Do you remember your first non-scale victory?
Mine after surgery?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And you'll have many, but do you remember, like, the first one that kind of came up?
I think it was a clothing thing too.
Yeah.
I think it was a shirt. I think you know what it was? It was the gray sweater. I thrifted a gray sweater, and I remember I bought it after surgery, and it was an extra large, and I've shown it to you before. It's a gray sweater, and it's got like slits on the sides, and it's kind of scooped at the bottom, and it's a bit of a tighter fitting sweater. And I remember I thrifted it because we had been talking about clothing and how, I don't want to buy all this clothes because it changes.
Yeah.
So I had been at the thrift store looking for something for the kids, and I saw this sweater and I was like, this is really cute, but it's like fitted, and I was like, and it's an extra large. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna buy it. It was like $3.
Nice.
And I remember buying it then and putting it on, and I was like pouring myself into it, but I wanted to see. And then I left it, and then I forgot about it.
Oh no.
And then a couple weeks after, and then I remember that was like the first piece of clothing then that I was like, okay, I'm going to try it on, because I'd been afraid. I didn't want to try something on and have it not fit and be discouraged. Yes. And I remember trying it on, and it fit. And it was still a bit tighter than what was comfortable for me, but it fit. Yeah. And I remember I sent it to you too, and I was like, I got it on.
I was so happy for you.
That one, and when we went, the co-op in town had Carhartt hoodies on sale. And Devin was going to go at lunch over work break lunch. And I said, go, because they're going to sell out fast. And I really want one. And he forgot to go. And so we went after work, and they only had smalls and mediums left. Okay. But they had a medium in this really nice green, and I love green. And he was like, just buy it. I'm like, I'm not buying it. It's not going to fit for like 2 years. Like, it's a medium. Let's be honest. It's not going to fit for a long time. He's like, just buy it. Just buy it. So yeah. Fine, I bought it. So he looked, he's like, I bet you it'll fit you. I was like, there's no way in hell. Like, I just got this extra large sweater on. There's no way in hell. And he's like, just try it on. And I was like, fine, I'll have a starting point. And the freaking thing fit. Like, it was a little tight in the sides, too tight that I wouldn't wear it in public. Sure. But the fact that I even got it on my body, yeah.
Best feeling ever.
Because I wasn't that far down on the scale yet.
No.
But it was just like,
your body changes rapidly.
This is real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not just the weight lost on the scale. You're gaining muscle. You've got you have
your
to
whole
take
body
the
shape
pictures.
Changes.
It's very cool. I had a lot of clothing ones too. I will admit, a lot of clothing ones. But the one that I remember the one that was like really impactful was 6 months post-op, going on my cruise, getting on the airplane, and having all of this like extra room on the
I'm so
seatbelt.
excited for that when I go in May.
Like,
I'm so excited.
I took a photo of like, not only was I crossing my legs, which was like a huge
Oh, that's a
thing.
big one.
Yeah, that one was so cool. So
That's a
the
big
photo
one.
is me crossing my legs with like
Yeah.
all this extra room. And I was like, never have I ever had extra seatbelt room. And not only that, but like, I'm not taking up the whole seat. Like, I'm not feeling the armrest. Like, I could
You're not
literally move
panicked
over and
about like
show the
who's going to be
seat.
beside you because you're going to be. I'm so excited to like.
So
I
much
love traveling
better.
and I love flying, but I always get stressed about that
Yep.
part of it, right?
Yep.
And this is the first time that like I'm actually excited. Devin and the girls and I are going. Devin and the girls are sitting together, and I'm sitting on the aisle beside them. And I'm
Okay.
actually for once like not super stressing out about having a stranger beside me,
Okay.
which is new.
It's great.
But I'm so excited for the seatbelt, which is crazy. And the fact
I
the crossing
know.
legs is huge. Like when I used to cross my legs, I can't do it right now, but I used to have to like kind of like squish myself over
Yeah.
to like move things around and then hoist your leg over. And it was never comfortable, right? It was never
No,
comfortable. But you
never
have to
great.
do like, I had to do like the squish over and then the like, like, let's go.
Yeah.
But now the fact that I can just sit normally and just
Yeah.
be like,
Cross your leg.
okay, cool.
Yep.
And
I
they look
could.
like my legs don't fall asleep from the
Yes.
pressure of sitting
There's no
cross-legged.
pain. I
Yeah.
used to just, I was only able to put my leg like, across, like it was never going to
Yes.
balance. It was just
Yep.
like,
It never
and
went
it,
over. It always stuck out
yep.
to the side.
And it
Yeah.
hurt. Like I couldn't
Yeah.
keep it, like now it's just so
Yeah.
natural that I just, and like,
I
again,
sit
these are
cross-legged all the
non-scale
time now.
victories. Yeah.
Yeah. I sit on the couch and I just instinctively
Cross
cross
my
my legs.
legs. And I never have to worry about where I'm going to sit, sitting in a chair, fitting in a chair.
Yep.
There's room. I remember one day, I don't even remember what I was doing. I think I had just come back for a run, or I don't know. I was doing something, but I sat in the chair. I was playing video games. I was sitting in the chair, and Bo decides to just shove his fat ass up in this chair and like turn around and lay down. And I was like, oh, there's
You can sit
physically
here.
room for me to sit and my 65-pound dog to sit in this chair.
Right.
And I was like, that, like, I wouldn't even have room for the cat before surgery. So,
Yeah.
okay, there's some really cool non-scale victories out there, and a lot of them will revolve around clothes for the first bit. So we recommend like buy an outfit for like a couple months after surgery, because it's really fun to try it on and see how close you're getting. And
Yep.
oh my god, it's almost fitting. And I bought
Yep.
so many that I forgot two or three, and then tried them on, and I was like, well, I missed the fucking window on wearing these
This
because now
one's
they're
gone
too
now.
big, which is annoying. Keep some of your old clothes so that you can do a photo shoot, because at 100 pounds lost, I went and got back into my jeans, and I could fit in one side of my jeans. And I had the shirt that used to be super tight on me, and I was like, whoa, this is crazy. But
Yep.
there are other non-scale victories that don't just revolve around like how you look or clothes. So don't
Bending
panic if
over
you're
to
like,
tie
oh
your
no,
shoes without like being out of breath or
without needing
hurting
to
or
put
having
your
like your
foot up
stomach in your.
somewhere.
Yeah.
Yep.
Putting on the lifting up your legs to put your socks on without
Yeah.
having to sit down to put your socks on.
Yep.
Like,
Taking the garbage out without being out of breath.
right?
Oh, walking up. I went to
Walking up a hill.
physiotherapy and the elevator didn't work. Not that I needed it, but taking the stairs, or at work, the parking garage elevators weren't working, and I parked on the third level. Like walking up 3 flights of stairs was nothing. I was like, oh my god, I forgot how like a flight of stairs. When I used to go get blood work done, it was a flight of stairs.
Yeah.
And I would have to stop at the top of the stairs for
Catch
probably a
your
good
breath.
10 minutes to catch my breath. Like I was
Yeah.
so out of breath.
And as soon as you know you have to take the stairs right away, it's just like panic.
Yeah, because you're like, you're going to be hot and sweaty and a big mess. Like that was awesome that like I just
Yeah.
instinctively take the stairs
You didn't even
now.
think twice.
I walk more now. So like a non-scale
Mhm.
victory was like parking at the back of the parking lot and walking, or saying things like, whatever, we'll walk. Who cares? Like
Yeah.
before, that's not the case. You would park as close as humanly possible because you're like, you don't want to walk.
Right.
Um, no more pain in my legs.
Oh, that's a big one. Joints.
Huge one. I don't have swollen feet anymore. I don't have
Not
pain in
having
my
to think about the
legs.
weight limit on things.
Oh my God. I haven't Googled that in forever. I will say I Googled it before I went horseback riding, and I was like,
Yeah.
the fuck are you Googling this for, my man?
You're
Like, you're
fine.
not even close to this. And like, I remember I couldn't horseback ride. I was
Right.
I couldn't. I was
Yep.
too fat for horseback riding. And I
Yep.
got to go horseback riding last
Right.
year. And it was
Yeah.
fucking incredible.
I remember when we went last year to Canmore and we went in the gondola up to Sulphur Mountain, and there was Devin, myself, and Devin's friend. And I remember beforehand Googling the weight limit because I was being paranoid that the three of us wouldn't be able to go on it. And then how do I bring that up? How do I address that? How do I like, because it was Devin, his friend, me, and then the other couple we were traveling with. And so I was like, okay, we can put the other couple in their own gondola, but then can the three of us go in this one? Like, how do I bring that up? How do I say I don't think we can all go in here? Like, are they gonna question it when we pull up to the gondola? Like,
Are they
so
gonna
much
just make that
stress.
awkward
And
comment?
now we're going back in May, and Devin, me, and the kids are all going on the gondola, and it's fine.
Yeah.
Whatever. I don't care.
Yep. I literally don't
It's
need to think
just that
about.
you don't have to think about that anymore.
Yeah. I think
Right?
that's an on-scale victory, the fact of how
Yeah.
little I think about my weight now. Like, how
Folding
little.
chairs.
Yeah.
Folding chairs are the enemy.
I don't have to think about it in a negative way anymore. I literally don't have to account
It
for my
doesn't
weight.
take up any space in your
Yeah.
thoughts anymore,
I don't
which
have to
is
worry about
huge.
travel. I don't have to worry about doing rides, riding roller coasters. I don't
Yeah.
have to worry about finding something in a store. I
Oh,
no longer have
you
to
can go
worry
into
about.
any store you want.
I could
I'm
shop
so
at any
excited for
store.
that. Oh my gosh, I am so excited to be able I'm not there yet, but I'm so excited to be able to just, like, walk into a mall, see something in a window, and walk into any store and not have to go, can't shop there.
Or
Nope,
can't do it.
can't shop there. Oh, there's the
Yep.
one store I can shop in."
Right?
Yeah, I am
So
so excited for that freedom to
that
just
one's pretty
shop where I want.
great. Yeah,
You know what
that's a
else?
good.
It's a little different. It's not I wouldn't necessarily have thought of it as non-scale victory, but being able to not finishing the food on your plate and being okay with it.
Yeah,
The fact that I can
that's a
now
victory.
look at my plate, have food on it, and be okay with saying I'm done. That has been a huge shift.
Yep. I
Yeah.
think knowing that even on days I'm not tracking, like if I go back and look at everything, I'm under 1,500 calories.
Right?
Like, I'm just instinctively doing it. I think a non-scale victory is I make better choices now.
Yeah.
Like, because I want to, not because
Yep.
I have to. Like,
Yep.
not because I'm scared of this or that. Like, well, I don't want that though.
Right.
Like, and like, I think another great one is turning things down. Oh, well, you can have a slice, right? No, I'm good
No, it's
actually.
fine.
I'm okay.
And being okay and
And like
legitimately
literally
being
being
okay with it.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not being
There's
like, "Oh
so
my god, I
but
want
these are
that
the things that,
cake."
like, unless we take the time, like, now to sit down and think about them, we don't give them enough time of day, and we don't give them enough credit, and no pun intended, but we don't give them enough weight. Like,
Yep.
we just either brush them off or we don't even notice them, and I think
Yep.
it's so important in this journey when things like that happen to stop for a second, slow down, take a breath, acknowledge it, and
Celebrate
yeah,
it.
realize how big of a deal it is.
Yeah.
It may not seem like that to somebody else,
But to
but
you,
yeah, give
yeah,
yourself the moment to
because
acknowledge it.
yes, in society we celebrate the scale. Like we celebrate the number lost. And by all means, like you should
You should.
celebrate that. Don't listen to the
Yeah.
fat acceptance community that says that you aren't allowed to celebrate weight loss.
No.
Yes, the
You
fuck
celebrate
you
every
are.
time that scale goes down.
Yes, you are. You celebrate it.
Yeah.
But these other things, these are things that might not have ever happened in your life before. And you need to stop and just be like, holy
Look
shit,
what I've
holy
done.
shit. Like I just sat on an airplane and the seatbelt had extra room. Like
Yeah. I
some
didn't
of
have to
these
pack
are
an extender
firsts.
secretly in my backpack just in case
Yes.
I needed it and then try to quietly bring
Ding,
it out
ding,
when
ding.
nobody's looking.
My breathing is so much better. Or, okay, here's a great non scale victory being flirted with for the
Right?
first time. Now, have people flirted
Yep.
with me before? Maybe they have, but like I was kind of like oblivious to it because of my
You don't
self
allow
esteem.
yourself to notice.
No, but now you're kind of like,
How
eh,
you doing?
oh, like I'm not interested, but like, oh, like,
Right.
thank
Yeah.
you. Like, there were definitely moments where I was like, oh my God. And like, I don't even want to get into the whole side of like, it's so unfair that you're treated differently because you're thin.
That's
Cool. We'll do that in a whole other podcast.
topic.
Let's not ruin this moment. There's something really great about being flirted with. And it doesn't mean that you weren't. Yes.
The
And
confidence
that's what
that
it
comes with
is.
that. It is. It's because you now have the confidence to stand up
Yes.
tall, put yourself out there, dress differently, portray yourself differently. Even when I go like little things, like I go for my lunchtime walks and I'm not hiding behind clothing anymore. Like I'm not hiding behind the super baggy sweaters and the super baggy shirts. I'm just out there walking, getting my sunshine. And I had two people in the last week that like I see on a regular basis not recognize me. Both because I look different, but because my demeanor was just different. Like I had somebody message me the other day and I was in the zone. I had my headphones on. I had my music. I wasn't paying attention.
I know that feeling.
And and she said that she saw me and thought, is that Steph? And did like a little wave at me, but then was like, no, that's not Steph. Quickly stopped waving, feeling silly. And then as she passed me, went, oh my God, it is Steph.
It is.
And so she messaged me after. She's like, I didn't even recognize you. And then my neighbor, I was out for lunchtime walk and she was out walking until we were like 6 feet away from each other. And I said, hey, she came out, she goes, I had no idea who you were. And it's just like, because you carry yourself differently, you put yourself out there differently. And that's huge too.
Yeah. And that's where it's like, it's not that you were treated differently because you were fat and like, yeah, I get it. Beauty standards are beauty standards. Like, I get it. It's that there's a confidence about you now. And it's not just that you're thin. It's that you just kind of feel more empowered. You feel better about yourself. You care less about like a lump and a bump and a wiggle and a jiggle. Like I don't really care much anymore. I wear the spandex running shirts and like, sure, yeah, because of my loose skin, I've got my boobs and then I've got my little boobs. Like I have to get the loose skin removed eventually. So I don't care. I run in tight clothes and I'm like, cool.
This is who we are.
Got a little roll here. Couldn't give a shit because I'm no longer 315 pounds. So I don't give a shit. I know I look good now.
And it's part of what you've achieved. And it's part of your, like a war wound, but it's like a trophy of this shows what I went through and what I achieved. And it's a literal weight has been lifted off your shoulders that you, mentally, and I've had people say like, physically, you just look, yes, physically you look different, but you just look different. Like
you're a different
smile
person.
is different. The glow is different. It's the whole thing.
The whole package.
Celebrate it.
So I'm single. I said it a few times on here, which is something we'll talk about in a podcast.
Guys, if you know somebody, Hannah's single.
Yeah, I'm single. If you have any available men looking for someone, hello, in the Kitchener-Waterloo area. But I had a bunch of my friends help me pick dating profile app. You were one of them. I sent everybody like 9 pictures and I was like, Jesus, guys, like, so for the first time in my life, this is a non-scale victory. I had multiple pictures to pick from. Like before when I would try to date, it was like, here are the 2 that I think kind of accurately convey my body.
I don't want to show you, but I don't have any other option.
But here we go. Now I was like, guys, I literally have like a fucking camera roll of photos. I'm going to need help narrowing this down to the best ones. Yep. And so I send all these photos out and that's a non-scale victory in itself.
Yeah.
Dating, feeling like I'm ready to date is a non-scale victory because my weight has made me extremely self-conscious. But then the feedback I got was not like, oh my God, you're so hot, you look great. But the feedback I got was, you are so happy in all these photos. And I was like, oh, and it was a good friend. Her name is Kendall. And she said, you were just smiling so much in these photos. Like somebody just needs to tell you that because like you should compare it to your photos before. You're visibly happy in all of these photos. I just want you to know that. And so I went back through my camera roll.
Natural glow that comes out.
And I went and looked at just like, because I'll take some like outfit photos from my mom and stuff of like stuff I've thrifted. I don't share it on social. But I went back and looked at some of my photos and I was like, oh my God, the stupid fucking grin on these photos of me just being like, here's my jeans, here's my outfit. Like, but I just have like a shit-eaten grin on my face. And I just realized, oh my God, it's just there.
Yeah, it's genuine now.
It's just not there.
It's not the fake I'm hiding behind my smile. It's not that you have such a pretty smile.
Okay.
It's
not the oh, you're such a jovial fat person. Like, you're just the fun fat person. It's like, now I'm allowed to be a bitch and it's totally fine.
Right?
It's like, I don't have to be your fat, funny
no,
friend
now it's a
anymore.
I'm genuinely happy. And I'm genuinely
I'm who I want to be.
yeah.
And if I
And I'm
don't like
comfortable
you,
with it, and I'm confident with it, and I'm proud of it. And those are things that you cannot measure with a number.
yeah, exactly. And so just track them. Google too if you need to like see some other people's examples and make it unique to yourself. Like non-scale victory for somebody who maybe is like really addicted to pop is, oh my God, I went 2 months without having a single drop of any pop. Like, that's fucking huge.
Write them down. Either get like a little notebook or get a little whiteboard. Like I have
or Google Doc.
Google Doc, notepad on your phone. I have a whiteboard, like a sticky paper whiteboard thing on my wall that I used to use for work. But now I put my goals are on it, my little sayings are on it. Just quickly jot them there, but put them somewhere so that when you're having those days that you're really frustrated with yourself, that you can go back and look at them and remind yourself of all of the
look at what we've achieved.
And that negativeness around the scale will quickly go away.
And that is why pictures matter, because when you're in a stall, it's like looking at photos can really be empowering. But keeping track of the non-scale victories. I remember somebody who had surgery told me, because she had it before me, and I only found out after, but it was still cool that I found this out. And she was like, oh, watch your hands. Your hands are going to be like the biggest, coolest change. And I was like, what the fuck? And like, I consistently can't stop looking at my hands. And like, it doesn't look like much here, but like when I was obese, these were sausage fingers. Like, like, and I have man hands, so like I get it. But like these were like swollen. I couldn't wear rings because nobody made rings big enough. I could not fit my hand around my wrist at all. And now I can like loop it around to the knuckle. But I will constantly just find myself looking at my hands going, whoa. And like, I'm so glad someone told me that, because I do look at my hands now and go, just look at your hands. Like, look at your hands alone. My arms, like, they used to just be super huge. And it's just like little things like that. Okay, I went and got new running shoes. I have a 10K coming up and I need new shoes because mine are, I don't like Hoka. We can have a whole I hate Hokas. So I went to get fitted for shoes. Now I'm a size 9, die hard, wear size 9. That's, I go into Runner's Choice and he's like, let's measure your feet. And he's like, ma'am, you're size 8. And I was like, excuse me?
Your feet shrink.
And he's like, and your left foot's a little smaller than that. And I was like, excuse me? The fuck you talking about? 8. And I was like, what the fuck? I was like, I'm wearing a size 9. So we put the 9s on and then I put an 8 on and I was like, get rid of those clown shoes. Get them out of here. Like, they didn't fit. I wear a size 11. I always wear a size 11. Same thing. Tried and true. Every single pair of shoes I have 11. I don't even have to try them on. Give me an 11. 9.
And I said, okay, if we're going to actually do hikes in Canmore this time, because we're going for like activities this time for our trip, I want a pair of hiking shoes, because Devin and the girls all have Doc Martens. They all have boots. They all have like stuff they can wear. Sure. I only have my On Cloud runners, my one pair. That's all I got.
Not good for trails.
I love my On Cloud runners. I actually bought them in Canmore last year.
Nice.
So I went to Mark's Work Warehouse because they had their hiking shoes on sale. And so I was looking around and I saw a pair I really loved and I scoured and they didn't have an 11. And so I asked the lady, do you have an 11? She went, nope, we don't have an 11. So, okay, fine, of course. So there was another pair that was good. I didn't love them as much, but they were still really nice. Okay. And they only had them in a 9 and a 10. And they were on sale for like wicked cheap. So I said, Devin's like, get those. I was like, they don't have my size. He's like, what? I said, there's no 11. He goes, well, put the 10 on. I'm like, I need an 11. Yeah. Like, I put the 10 on like a glove. Like a glove. I put an 11 on in a similar pair. Nope.
Too big.
Nope. Yeah. So now my hiking shoes are
yeah, your feet will shrink.
Yep. And your hands. This is the first time I have been able to wear my engagement ring, my wedding band, and my other 2 bands in 5 years. I have not worn all my rings in 5 years. And now
non-scale victory.
They're too big. Mm-hmm. The only thing, my engagement ring is still, it fits perfect. So it's holding all these other babies in place. But in a little while, she's going to be too loose. And then
might as well wait till they're all too loose to resize them.
They just turn all day long. They're so loose.
Yep.
And I was like, you know what? Shit, man. Like, I haven't worn them in 5 years. I finally can wear them all. And now a couple weeks later, I'm going to have to take them off because they're going to
get them resized.
And I'll get them resized eventually. Yeah. But like, just take stock. Take stock of all the things.
Just reflect and enjoy.
There's so much to the bigger picture than the number. The pounds are important. The scale is important. Don't discredit it. But it's a fraction of the puzzle.
Minuscule. Don't get too fixated on clothes for non-scale either. Like, that is cool and that's great. Like, you should.
But things fit so different.
So here's where it gets.
Every brand fits different.
Yep. And I just put this up on my Instagram like maybe a couple weeks ago where I was like, you've got to be fucking kidding me. I was going spring cleaning some stuff out and I went, oh, I wonder if that little bench jacket fits now because I bought this bench jacket while thrifting. It's supposed to be a large, but like a large for an American Girl doll, maybe. Like, what? And it never fit. Anyway, now it fit. And I was like, what? It fits. Oh, sorry. It was a small and it fit. And I was like, whoa. And then I went, so I wonder if the large that I thrifted fits. And bench, same brand, I thrifted this like pink exercise jacket from them. I went to try to put it on because I was like, well, the fucking small fits me. I couldn't get it up over my boobs. Like I could maybe shove one boob in it, but then the other one was like, no, we're not closing.
No.
I was so pissed.
Our last week's episode around travel, I have a bench zip up on over top of my green shirt. And it was sitting, I bought it years ago, like probably 8 years ago at Costco. It was on sale. And I was like, one day I'm going to wear this. And I bought it. And so the other day I was like, hey, I still have that bench zip up. It probably fits now. So I pull it out. I look at it. It's 2X. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm not wearing 2X anymore. This is no problem. I put it on. It fits in the arms. And then I go to zip it up. That baby made it like maybe to my belly button. And I was like, you are a damn 2X.
Yeah,
and
bench can get
my
bench.
belly button?
Yeah.
Like, come on. This is an extra large and she's like hanging.
We need to do a whole episode on like brands and sizes, but that's just my only advice is don't do everything clothing wise because I don't want you to ever get a brand that you buy a size and it doesn't fit you and then you start feeling really bad about yourself. Like when you're going to do non-scale victories for clothing, do clothing that is kind of more universal, like an Old Navy, a Gap, an American Eagle, like something where it's not bench, where you're going to be like, I don't understand their sizing. And I don't. And I'll reshare that post on the Bariatric Banter Instagram because I was livid. And I was like, if this had happened to me early on in surgery, I would have been so depressed. But I like now I just laugh about it because I'm like, I know I'm not fat. I know that I'm a size small, a size 8 now.
Or don't go buy the size, right? Like get yourself a shirt or sweater or something that's smaller that you know just by looking at it is not going to fit. Yep. And then use that as your benchmark. Use that as your guiding post and try it on every so often. And it's not so much that you went from size A to B. It's that you clearly know you have shrunk because you can now fit into the shirt or this pants.
And I had so many of those things. And I still do, by the way. I still have some outfits that I was like, this is super cute. It's a bit snug. I'm going to buy it anyway and just see what running does this year. I still have about 15 pounds I want to lose. But buy the things. Just watch some of the brands. Same with Nike. Like it's worse with athletic clothing, I find, which is just infuriating to no end.
Always the athletic brand, athletic
terrible.
Clothing. Yeah.
Fucking terrible. So I recommend thrifting, especially in the first couple of years. I also just like thrifting. It's dope as hell. But I just recommend thrifting.
This is Goodwill.
Man, I just got like, you saw the photos. I got the PacSun, the Good American, and the American Eagle jeans. And I was like, this is so cool.
No, this is one of my new favorite sweaters. And I got it at Goodwill for $3.
So focus on the scale is there. The scale's always going to be there. But my God, your body's going to do some really cool fucking shit over the course of this.
You know non-scale Victories?
I can see whatever this is. Yeah, look, I got this. Ooh,
these weren't here before.
Also, I don't have a double chin. Like, I don't have to like angle myself weirdly.
I can see things.
I can feel my collarbone. Like you can feel like that's cool. I don't have leg pain. I can feel my collarbone. I can feel bones that I've never felt. I have muscle. Like you can see muscle
all the time now from sitting.
Yeah,
my tailbone is always sore from sitting.
My body's like, you know what you need to do? Get up and get go. Like, exercise is my non-scale victory too. Like, what I've been able to achieve.
Oh gosh, yes.
Kind of blows my mind.
The fact that I even think about and want to do 2 workouts a day. Like,
and I'm telling
if
you,
you
one
would have
day
told
you'll
me
be
that,
running with me. I
maybe.
never thought I'd be a runner. And like now, welcome to the cult of Hannah. I'm going to convince you
Right?
to be a runner. But
I
like,
said to you, I would love to be one of those people that are like, hey, I'm going to go for a run.
it just kind of hit
When
me
the
one day.
day that those words come out of my mouth because I want them to, and I actually do it, will be a huge thing.
Well,
But
you could
right?
do a 10K with me and you can like lots of people walk these races.
Yeah.
And that'd be just cool that we could train for it in two different ways. Like that would actually
Right?
be really cool for the
That would be
podcast and
cool.
Instagram
That would be
is
cool.
we're going to train for a 10K in two completely different ways as
Yeah.
bariatric patients. Someone who wants to walk it within a certain amount of time and someone who wants to run it. And we could still work out and do it together. And then that's something that we can do together. But that might be really cool to document that
That's true.
nothing is one size fits all. Just
No.
because it's called a race doesn't mean you have to run it.
It's a race with yourself.
Yeah. And it's about the distance, not about how fast you do it or what way you do it. It's about the distance. So that might be something really cool we could do.
That could be coming soon. Stay tuned.
Hey,
Because
let us
honestly,
know. Yeah.
if you would have told me even 4 months ago, 3 months ago, that I would be actively doing 2 workouts a day plus a walk and wanting to,
Yeah.
I would have called you a liar.
Yeah. And that's the thing. It's the discipline. That's the non-scale victory for me. It's the discipline. I maybe don't want to do it, but I'm going to do it. Tomorrow, I have a long run. And I could tell you, right, good goddamn well now, I don't want to do this long run tomorrow. But there's just something where I wake up and go, but I'm kind of impressed that you are doing it. And so yesterday was a 5K straight because I was doing run, walk, run, walk. But now that the race is,
close,
almost here, I was like, no, you're just going to get out and run straight 5K, just see how far you can go. And so it's discipline. But when you look back on it, it makes you go, holy shit. Did you ever think you'd be doing
I
this?
can do.
Yeah. Riding a horse, running races, breathing normally. The other thing that's like, I'll end on it. I got pneumonia, and I was hospitalized with pneumonia at Christmas time, and it was bad. Like I could barely breathe. That's why I was admitted, because they said your oxygen is dangerously low and it's like you're not breathing on your own. So you're going to be admitted. And I said, okay. I recovered and was discharged 3-4 days later. And they said, like, we're not going to give you a room and a bed because we don't want you here. Like, you're a really healthy individual.
Yeah.
You're going to stay in short stay. For anybody who knows short stay, like, it's not a dedicated room, it's surgical short stay. You're supposed to be in and out. And, we're going to push you. And they did. Get up, get walking. They pushed me. It wasn't, oh God, oh my Jesus, call her parents, get the priest in here. This is horrible. No, they pushed me. And they said, you're really healthy. You can handle this. You can do this. Yeah. And I remember my mom saying, could you imagine if you had caught pneumonia before surgery? And I said,
no.
I don't know what would have happened with all that weight, with having no training, with having no endurance built up, with having nothing. Like, I don't even want to imagine pneumonia. And that's the thing. Like, that's a non-scale victory.
Different story.
Yeah. Nobody wants to get sick. Like, nobody fucking wanted pneumonia. But the non-scale victory
was how far you've come.
Well, right? And it kind of makes me think, like, I need to stick with this because you take things for granted sometimes, right? Like, you want to be able to fight this off. And my biggest thing I told people was, I would like to walk into the operating room because I chose to, not because I'm being wheeled in against my will. And so non-scale victories can also be no longer being on blood pressure medication, no longer being on cholesterol medication, having regular periods again for the first time in years in my life. Those can be non-scale victories because you don't give enough credit to the fact that you not only lost weight to look better, you are prolonging your life in ways that you won't know until, hopefully you never have to find out, but you won't know all that you've achieved until you face sickness and realize, what would this have been like if I wasn't a healthy individual? So that really scared me and opened my eyes that, like, if that's what that was like to go through at peak health,
you want to know.
Nope. And that's why in Canada this is covered, because they know if they're preventative with weight, you will do better. You'll fare better.
There's so many trickle effects. Yeah. It impacts so much down the road and in the future too. It
does. Maybe we'll talk about all of that, comorbidities and things, but we're excited.
Track your victories, guys.
Track your victory and then share them with us. We want to hear them. Like, we want to feature them and share them. And you know what? Steph and I will do a better job of sharing them as well.
Yep.
We will share our non-scale victories because you still have them.
I'll share my pants one, my one day jeans. I'll share that one tomorrow.
I'll share my airline stuff. I'll share a bunch of great ones, but share them with us too. We want to hear your non-scale victories or what you plan to be your non-scale victories before surgery. But thank you for joining us for episode 12. We just love the crap out of you guys. Keep giving us ideas and topics. We cannot wait to be back for episode 13. And I'll be able to tell you all about Nashville in that one and how I navigated it.
Love it. Thanks,
awesome.
Guys.
Like always, Steph, thanks for joining me.
Anytime.
Bye, everybody.
Yeah, bye, guys.
Bye.